Welcome to Date Night with the
Coopers. Guess what movie it is?
What are we reviewing today?
I should give it away.
Elvis.
That's right.
But look, let's keep with the format. We have a format to this thing. Welcome to Date Night with the Coopers. This is the channel where we review films mostly and sometimes TV shows. If we like a film, what do?
We send it upstream.
If we don't like it, what do we do?
Don't put it in your queue downstream.
Yes, you don't have time for that. I'm excited to talk about Elvis. It's something that I wish we had seen in June when it first came out in the theaters. But HBO Max now has it streaming since August. So we were excited. A good friend of mine, Dr. Kinga, said, make sure you watch this film. And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
The director, tell us a little bit. What do you think about the director?
Baz Luhrman is an amazing director. He's done Moulin Rouge. He's done Strictly Ballroom. He's done The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
You know, he does all kind of really ornate, sumptuous, visceral, visually interesting films. And every dollar that's in the budget, you can see on the screen.
Every dollar. And apparently with Elvis, they're begging him for a longer version. And he said, I'm tired. But they said this could be a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
I said, 4 hours? How much is on the cutting room floor?
Yeah, that's true.
But first, we're breaking format. And we just started this, so we can't break format yet.
Yeah.
Let me talk a little bit.
We could.
Yeah. So we said if we like a movie, we go upstream. If we don't like it, we do downstream. That's what we do here. We also, at the very end of this review, we talk about the 4 things you need to know. And I'll go over that a little later about the film. Let's get started. I'm going to get my little spectacles on. Austin Butler killed this. He is the young actor that portrayed Elvis.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was amazing.
At a certain point, I forgot it wasn't Elvis.
I'm looking at Elvis.
Yeah, he was really good.
I said, Elvis has left the building and has come back into the building. But it wasn't Elvis. Man, they did a fantastic job casting him.
Yeah. And
he did a phenomenal job studying Elvis.
I mean, he's got to be made from this point forward, right?
He's made. You know who also did a great job? Those that co-wrote this film, Sam Bromell, Craig Pierce, and Jeremy Donner. Yeah, we always like to give shout outs to the screenwriters, directors, producers, because we're in the industry ourselves. And sometimes those people behind the scenes, maybe they do get their credit, but a lot of times they don't.
But if it's not on the page, it's not on the screen. Right,
exactly. So everybody that's why we sit and watch the credits. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? We're breaking format again. This film was Oscar caliber. Baz killed it. Austin killed it. Tom Hanks killed it.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. And basically, a little backstory behind it. The film begins in 1997. Tom Hanks is playing Elvis Presley's former manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Mm-hmm. They called him the Colonel. And he's had a stroke. He's on his deathbed, and he's kind of just recounting his life, looking back on Elvis's life more specifically. Mm-hmm. And that's really what the movie is, about Elvis's start from when he first got the Holy Ghost honey at a revival in a church in Mississippi. In Tennessee. I'm talking about something else. In Memphis, in Tennessee. When he first got it started in Tennessee, to becoming this big, huge star, becoming the king of rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And it started with basically how he's being raised by his mother, Gladys. That's my grandmother's name. So, known as a popular name during the era. We call her Glay Glay. We love Glay Glay. We love you. Glay Glay, rest in peace. But his mother name was Gladys. Was very close with Gladys. She was his everything. His father had gone to jail. And what was interesting is she raised him in an all-black neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So I never realized that about Elvis. We always hear these things about Elvis, stole music from black people and all this. And you look at him, you look like somebody from the era that was black. His moves, his songs, everything. But he grew up in a black neighborhood. And they showed him just going to this revival and just get hit by the spirit and learn his songs from artists that performed at church and were in his community growing up. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that? What did you think about how they shot that, the scene? When you saw it as a filmmaker, what were your first thoughts?
Well, it's period, so I think someone from the period would have to look at it and see if it's authentic. you know.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, whenever I see pictures of my dad, you know, and stuff like that, that's what it looks like,
Right.
you know. So it looked authentic to me.
Right. Who also seemed very authentic is, Tom Hanks. You could tell he really embodies his character. He studies that person. And to me, he was the Colonel.
Mm-hmm.
The Colonel was a carnival, they call it a huckster. Like, he was like P.T. Barnum type.
Right.
Right. So he's like, he knows how to suck in the audience, right? And he was looking for an act, something like a carnival act, to kind of blow up what he already had. He already was representing artists that were like country music artists of that day.
Mm-hmm.
But he needed something with more pop, something that felt like forbidden fruit, which is what people were used, as a method to get people to go to these carnivals and these circuses, right? And they heard Elvis kind of like on the radio, and they said it's a black artist, or they didn't say black, they colored or whatever they called him. And he said, no, this guy is white. And I said, what? And immediately he was like, oh, there's crossover appeal. There's something there. This is a white artist? Mm-hmm. So they had to go see him. And everything we saw where they portrayed him first as a kid and his whole Holy Ghost experience was on that stage. Mm-hmm. Even how he was dressed. He was dressed like a black artist. He had all the moves. He had the swag of a blues artist, right? Mm-hmm. And you could see like the young girls were trying to control themselves. And next thing you know, honey, those panties was on the stage. What did you think about how they portrayed that?
It was so interesting to watch. There's this one shot. There's a woman who seems like she can't contain what's happening inside of her.
I said, oh.
And she just suddenly it looks so real. She's an extra, but she, killed it for an extra.
Give that extra Oscar. Because when I seen her, like, you could tell something was bubbling.
They should have extra Oscars.
They should have Oscars for extras. Because sometimes you focus on the person in the background. You go, I'm so busy watching that person that I'm not even looking at the main stars.
But it's a great movie. It's a very well-made film. It's a well-written film. It tells the entire story from his childhood to, spoiler alert, to his death. And it's a really good film. Yeah, it shows how, in the film, they have artists like B.B. King giving him advice. Because there was a time where they wanted him to be straight-laced and wear suits and lose the wiggle, right? Or they were going to arrest him. And in the film, the B.B. King gives him advice like, they're not going to arrest you. You're making them too much money. And they don't go into the necessarily the negative side of all the things Elvis did. Like, they highlight it. You'll see pill bottles kind of defocused and things like that. But it was really about his love for the music. Whose phone is that? Oh, that's my phone. I know better than that. All phone silence on the set. Apologies. Oh, it's my family texting me. I always got to hear it from them. Sorry. I love my family. But anyway, the film, they didn't really get into the negative. But what it did do is show how the Colonel, because this is from his point of view, right? How he did kind of take over Elvis. How he did kind of take over the family. How he took money. He did. And also how he made him a star. He did. So, you could see by the end why, this is a biopic, right? Why in real life they parted ways. He was taking money. He was swindling. He did have a gambling problem. But he also made him a star, which he could not have been on his own, even with all that God-given talent, which is what his mother said. He had God-given talent. Say what you will about the Colonel. The Colonel's legacy is Elvis.
Absolutely. 100%. And we understand in this line of business, you see the star, and they do have the talent, but there's, like I said, people behind the scenes that are using strategy, to get them where they are. Another interesting thing about this film was the use of color, the use of transition, the way they transition from scene to scene, I thought was amazing. Mm-hmm. I said, wow.
They use a lot of very interesting techniques.
Yeah.
They used graphics. They've used comic books. They tried to keep with the times and use the fonts of the time.
Right.
And it really showed a really interesting progress from how it looked at the beginning, and it looked different. It physically looked different at the end.
You said it right. There's the different eras. Because we all know different Elvises, don't we?
Yeah.
I have a good friend, Amanda, our mutual friend, who, loves Elvis so much that her youngest daughter is named Presley. You think about that, the impact of this music.
All these years later.
All these years. And the film really showcased his love for Black music, the origins, even the style. And when he hit his rock bottom, and when I seen Zac Ephron pop up, it become his new producer. I said, this is Zac Ephron in a wig, y'all. Become his new producer. I said, that's like the Jimmy Jam, the Terry Lewis for Janet Jackson. When she had her rebirth, they went back to his original, like, who are you? And originally was gospel music. And it was R&B music. And so I like that because it pays, homage to where all that came from. And a lot of times we don't hear about that.
Right. So to answer our 4 questions, I would say, is it a good film? The answer would be yes. What would you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was teary-eyed at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really was. I was surprised.
Was it well written?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Shout out Baz. Yeah.
And what about the performers?
Oh, God. I could go on and on about all the performers. They did a phenomenal job. Everyone was believable.
Yeah.
Every single person that was, even the extras.
Yeah, it's true.
I believe them. I believe the extras that, he had to be around, you have the Black people who have that juke joint style that he had to be around. I believed everyone. I believe B.B. King. I believe all of them. All the actors portraying the role. Yeah.
So say what you will about Elvis Presley. I don't know the accuracy or truth of what it was in real life, but I could tell you it was a great film. It was a really well-made movie, and it was something that I would say I would give it a thumbs up.
You want to give it a thumbs up? You would give it, you upstream it?
Upstream it.
You upstream that?
And you know what? I would love to hear what you guys think about this.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I think is polarizing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And, your opinions, I want to hear it. Maybe we'll do another one just about people's opinions and all this.
I like that. Who gave you that idea?
I think you did.
Yeah. No, I usually do give them the good ideas. But someone else gave you that idea. Someone else. It was someone who wrote in the YouTube comments. So thank you. This means so much for us. So thank you. Please continue watching. Subscribe. Make comments. We want it to be a discussion. This is for people who love film. And for people who want to get into film. Because that's what we're going to start doing on Patreon. Giving you tips about how to get on film and TV. And how to make TV shows and movies. Because that's what we do. I do want to say that what made me also want to watch this film was that Priscilla Presley said it was well made. She said, this is Elvis. She was a little bit nervous before watching it, but she said, this is Elvis. So if she, who lived it, endorsed it, then I know that it has to be credible and it has to be of good stock, right? Good writing, good direction, good actors, So I that made me want to see it. And I did enjoy the scenes with Priscilla and Elvis in the film. And I think that loss of the love, from at least from what I could see it, their divorce, to me, after that, it seems like you saw the breakdown of him. So that's interesting, the importance of having love and having people who support you and having people who don't just want to make money off of you. But anyway, is it good for date night? That's our last question.
Yeah.
Has Elvis left the building?
Elvis has left the building.
Have Ralph and Kristy, are we leaving the building?
Yeah, I gotta go.
He got his Elvis outfit on. He gotta go to work. And I do too. Is this Vegas?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you sing us out, Ralph?
No, but
you do impersonation?
But I will say goodbye. See y'all.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you the next time for our next review.